Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Great. Well, today we're going to be looking into the story of Patrick Baxter,
Oh, okay.
a serial killer who operated in Westchester County, New York.
Okay.
And our sources today are going to be excerpts from his Wikipedia article.
Gotcha.
And this case is really interesting because, like, at first glance, the victims all seem completely unconnected.
Hmm.
And it went unsolved for years.
Wow.
And then it wasn't until DNA technology really came into its own that they were finally able to crack the case.
Wow.
So let's dive in. So between 1987 and 1990, Baxter committed 3 murders
Okay.
that really shook the community. Our first victim, Michelle Walker, was just 14 years old when she disappeared.
14. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she was just sent to go buy like pizza and milk.
Oh, wow.
Super ordinary, errand,
Mm-hmm.
and just like vanished.
Oh, that's so scary. Just like completely gone.
Yeah, and so they found her body the next day
Oh, no.
along a trail that she usually took home.
Mm.
She had been sexually assaulted
Oh.
and suffocated.
Oh my God.
And what's crazy is that Baxter actually lived in an apartment that overlooked that trail.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And police actually wanted to question him at the time,
Uh-huh.
but there was this weird legal technicality.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like there's a law in place that prevents like law enforcement from questioning someone who's already due in court for something else,
Oh, interesting.
like for a separate matter.
So like you can't question them about a different crime.
Exactly.
Ow.
And he happened to be due in court for an auto theft case.
Ah.
So they couldn't question him about this.
So they had to let it go.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's kind of crazy because it makes you wonder what might have happened.
Yeah. I wonder.
Had they been able to.
Totally. If they had been able to question him, like, would that have changed anything?
Right.
Wow.
So fast forward to 1988.
Okay.
Our second victim, Patricia England, a 19-year-old.
Okay.
Disappeared after celebrating a friend's birthday.
Oh.
And it wasn't until months later
Oh, wow.
that her body was discovered,
Oh, no.
frozen and abandoned,
Ugh.
like near the outskirts of Yonkers.
Okay.
Like Michelle, Patricia had also been sexually assaulted
Oh, jeez.
and suffocated.
Oh, my goodness.
So remember how we were talking about how the victims all seem unconnected?
Yeah.
So it turns out Baxter actually knew Patricia
Really?
through her boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, her boyfriend had worked with him at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small detail, but,
Yeah.
ended up being pretty important.
Oh, for sure.
Now, the third victim,
Okay.
Lisa Gibbons.
Lisa Gibbons.
She was 25 years old,
Mm-hmm.
had just moved to Tuckahoe to kind of start fresh.
Yeah.
And she was attacked and murdered in 1990
Oh, no.
while she was on her way to her new job
Oh, wow.
as a medical receptionist.
Jeez.
And so this actually happened near like a busy train station. And get this, Baxter was actually seen with friends at that same train station
Really?
shortly before her attack.
Oh, my God.
So Lisa, like Michelle and Patricia, was sexually assaulted
Oh, gosh.
and murdered.
Wow.
And her case, obviously, sent shockwaves through Tuckahoe because, like, violent crime was pretty rare there.
Yeah.
And just like the other cases, it didn't seem like there was any immediate connection to Baxter.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, all these crimes seem so random, right?
Yeah.
Different locations, like no clear motive.
Mm-hmm.
Investigators are basically grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, like, where do they even go from there? Right, like, how do you even begin to connect those dots?
Well, it turns out Baxter actually had, a few run-ins with the law.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So in the late 1990s,
Okay.
he was convicted of auto theft.
Okay.
And he served some time. And this is really where the case takes a turn.
Oh, how so?
So while Baxter was serving his sentence,
Okay.
for the auto theft, investigators were still, working on all these cold cases.
Right.
And they started to notice that his name kept coming up.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, like in connection with other unsolved crimes too.
Interesting.
So they started thinking like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's something here.
Yeah.
But they needed more than just a hunch.
Right. They needed, like, real evidence
Exactly.
to connect him to everything.
And that's where the DNA technology comes in.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So they asked Baxter for a DNA sample.
Oh.
But his lawyers, of course, fought against it.
Oh, wow. So it became like a legal battle.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
It took a while.
Wow.
But eventually, the courts ruled in favor of the investigators.
Okay.
And Baxter had to give a sample.
Okay.
And, well,
And
The results were pretty conclusive.
I bet.
His DNA matched evidence from all 3 murder scenes.
Oh, wow. So that was it then? Like, case closed?
Pretty much.
Wow.
So in 2002, he was finally brought to trial, facing 3 counts of murder.
Yeah.
And, well,
What happened?
jury found him guilty on all 3 counts.
Wow.
And he was sentenced to 75 years to life.
75 years. Wow.
25 for each victim
Oh, wow.
to be served consecutively.
Jeez.
During the sentencing,
Yeah.
Baxter actually offered condolences to the families of the victims,
Oh, really?
but he still maintained his innocence.
That's strange.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah, like what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
Right. It's like so contradictory. It's like, is he trying to, I don't know, like, is he trying to have it both ways?
Yeah, exactly. It's really hard to wrap your head around.
Totally.
So, as we're kind of wrapping up this deep dive into the Patrick Baxter case,
Yeah.
what are some of the, key takeaways that stand out to you?
Well, I think, this case really shows us that even when things seem really, really dark, the truth can still come out.
Right.
And justice can still be served. Like it doesn't matter how long it takes,
Right.
or how complicated it gets.
Yeah.
There's always a chance for resolution.
I think that's, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
And I think, this case also highlights just how important DNA technology is.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it really has changed everything.
Totally. It's like, before we had that,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these cases would have just stayed cold.
Right.
But now, like, we have this tool
Yeah.
that can, like, actually connect people to crimes.
And not just, identify the perpetrator,
Mm-hmm.
but also, bring closure to the families of the victims.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that they can finally understand what happened to their loved ones.
Yeah, that's huge.
And see that justice is served.
Absolutely.
Even though, obviously, nothing can, truly take away their pain.
Of course not. Yeah.
But it can at least provide some sense of, I don't know.
Yeah, like a little bit of peace.
Yeah, like peace and resolution. I think it's also important to point out,
Ah.
just how persistent these investigators
Yeah.
were.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, they worked for years
Yeah.
putting all these tiny pieces together,
Yeah.
following every lead,
Yeah.
and then finally, using this technology to crack the case.
It's incredible, really.
Yeah.
It's a real testament to their dedication.
Right.
And it shows us that even when things seem impossible,
Yeah.
breakthroughs can happen.
Totally.
It's really inspiring.
Yeah. And as we kind of look to the future,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, what other mysteries are out there?
Right. Like, what else will we be able to solve
Exactly.
with all these new advancements?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this has been quite a deep dive
It has.
into a really, dark story.
Yeah.
But, it's been really interesting exploring all the different aspects of it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.